Hi, I wanted to discuss today the witch wound. Um, I've been seeing things about that, um, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So, the witch wound is the wounding that we carry in our soul, in our spirit, in our DNA from our ancestors when they were persecuted, burned at the stake, torturized, and went through so many horrendous things. And a lot of them in the history of all of that, especially in Americas and pretty much all over the world, a lot of people that were treated this horribly. Some of them were not even witches. That is a terrible thought. But then that we had to go underground with our practices and hide out and uh, protect ourselves at all costs. And I have a double whammy there in that, being an African American in America, I have gone through so much. And I think that's the wounding for me that hurts even more because I still see so many things that as African Americans, we still have to deal with prejudices and those kind of things. So it's a double whammy wounding that I feel as a witch and as an African American. The wounding can be deep. I just don't choose to make that um, the end all be all. I choose to find healing ways to go on and continue and to do the things I do. Um, as a witch and an African American, um, I have to say personally, I haven't experienced a lot of prejudice in the witchy community. I feel like I've been accepted in some of the communities that I share with, be it that most of the communities that I share and I'm a part of are online. Um, but I don't feel that sense of, I feel a sense of accepting and that my voice is heard. And then I'm in African American groups online, and there is a support there, a camaraderie there. For African Americans, a lot of us, in order from our history, we had to synchronize practices to continue to practice. And so we synchronized practices, meaning that we brought in the Christian aspect to a lot of our magic in order to keep it hidden. Now that affects me because that is kind of like how I practice. There's definitely a strong Christian influence in my practice. And I feel like a part of that comes from the way that I was taught because it was all synchronized in my personal history. But overall, and moving forward and moving on, how do I heal from those wounds? It's an ongoing process for me. And one way I heal is through gratitude. And that is being grateful that I can openly proclaim, practice, and do my magic openly now. Um, and I am grateful to my ancestors for all that they went through to get me to the place where I am today, that I can practice openly and proclaim who I am and live this freely. Now, that is not a privilege that all people have. Some people still can be persecuted and go through torture and all of these things in some parts of the world, even today. And I recognize that and honor that. And I feel like part of my healing practice is to uplift those or do what I can to support those who cannot practice openly, to protect their privacy and their right. That is a way that is healing to me. Um, the other way that is healing to me is to continue my education, to know the history of those who have gone before me, who have done so much so that I am today can practice openly. I think that's a duty for me and a calling to know that history. And so I read and educate myself on the history of witchcraft and what they went through as much as I can. Another aspect is venerating my ancestors, of course, honoring and venerating them, thanking them for all that they've gone through so that today I can be openly who I am, and to practice my practice in excellence as best I can, to practice, to do, to know, to believe, to dare to do this. To be courageous is another way that is healing for me. To courageously proclaim and live my life um, the best I can, because so many have went before me and gone through so much for me to do that, it would be a dishonor to them not to live my best life as a witch. And I think to reflect is a way that is healing for me. To reflect on what they went through and where I am today. To reflect and be grateful that though they in the past may have gone through some very horrendous things, witchcraft has existed for millennials, for a long, long time, and it will continue to exist. So that says a lot about the character and about the people who choose to practice the craft, and to be grateful. To carry this forward by encouraging, supporting, um, helping to educate those who are younger and who are coming into the craft, to share some loving light and support, to mentor. That is healing for me also. And these are ways that I heal from the double whammy, actually, of being a witch and an African American who practiced witchcraft. But honey is going to do it anyway and continue in doing it until I leave this realm. So that was my discussion. What do you think? What do you think about the witch wound? How do you heal from it? Leave a comment. It's a discussion. Again, I want to say that with this channel, I try to bring up things. I try to do a little bit of sharing information or my thoughts for a place that I can learn from you, you can learn from me, we can share these thoughts, these ideas, ways I practice and everything. And I learn from you and you learn from me. That's what it's all about. You be blessed, you be powerful. Couldn't get that word out. You be courageous. You be grateful for those who have gone before us. Talk to you soon. Blessed be.